This segment will show you how to attach the clutch for an electric attachment. First, take the clutch idler assembly and turn it upside down. Then you can hook the spring, part Y, onto the end of the bolt that extends through the nut on the bottom of the upper idler arm. Take a hex lock nut, part U, and thread it onto the bolt. Make sure that you leave enough space for the spring to pivot. Now take the tensioning chains, part II. Insert one of the tensioning chains on the opposite side of the assembly in the lower hole that then leads to the spring on the upper idler arm. Attach the chain to the hook on the end of that spring. Then insert the other chain through the center hole in the side of the assembly leading to the lower idler arm and attach the end of the chain to the hook on the spring on the lower idler arm. Now install a hairpin cotter, part BB, in the chain that is attached to the upper idler arm, placing it in the fifth link away from the spring. Next, take the rear pulley frame brackets, part 7, and attach each one to the inside of the clutch idler assembly. Place them at the ends on either side of the large V pulley, with the angled ends facing out from the assembly. Align the bolt holes in the brackets to the first and third bolt holes on the side. Insert 2 hex bolts, part C, from the inside of the assembly through the brackets, then install a washer, part P, on each bolt, and insert the bolts through the aligned bolt holes in the side of the assembly. You can secure the bolts on the end using 2 nylock nuts, part V. Repeat these steps to secure the other rear pulley frame bracket on the opposite side of the assembly. Now attach the 2 front pulley frame brackets on the other end of the clutch idler assembly. Align each bracket so the notch is on the bottom and closest to the edge of the assembly, and match the bolt holes to the third and fourth holes on the side. Take 2 hex bolts, part B, and insert them from the inside, first through the bolt holes in the bracket, and then through 4 washers, part P, 2 on each bolt. Then insert the bolts through the aligned bolt holes in the side of the assembly, and secure them with 2 nylock nuts, part V. Next, select the correct drive belt for your electric attachment clutch tractor. The shorter 55-inch drive belt, part 9, is the correct one to use. Make sure you choose the correct length belt, as using the wrong one can cause damage. Now, slightly loosen the hex bolt that is next to the flat idler pulley. You will need to install the drive belt down between the hex bolt and the flat idler pulley, with the flat side of the belt against the pulley. When it's correctly placed, you can retighten the hex bolt. Then, loop the belt around the large V pulley, positioning it between the V pulley and the hex bolt that is next to it. Now you can attach the clutch idler assembly to the tractor frame. Hook the notched rear pulley frame brackets onto the 2 shoulder bolts that you assembled to the outside of the tractor frame. Then lift the front of the assembly and attach it to the right and left hanger brackets that you assembled. Secure it using 2 pivot lock pins, part DD, and securing with hairpin cotters, part CC, on the end. Now you can place the drive belt onto the engine pulley, routing the belt through the engine pulley belt keepers. Note that you might need to remove the belt from the large pulley first in order to assemble it onto the engine pulley. If so, then when you reassemble the belt back onto the large pulley, make sure that the belt is back between the large pulley and the hex bolt next to it. With the belt in place, pull on the left side tensioning chain to create tension, pulling the chain out as far as the hairpin cotter that you already inserted into the chain will allow. Then secure the chain in this taut position by inserting a hairpin cotter, part CC, through the chain. Note that you should loop the end of the chain through the pivot lock pin to keep it from dragging on the ground.